Welcome to the Rewards Master Live. A little different time than usual here on a Sunday, but it's been a crazy day, and I'll tell you about it in a minute. But let me see, looks like we have a few in here already. Must have been waiting. So I see we have one comment from Rob Nopper Studio. Hey, Rob, good to have you on board. Says, what big spend bonuses do you go for and on what cards? For instance, I think you mentioned that you spend on the Globe card to get AA status, but you wouldn't spend to earn Hilton free night certs. Well, that is accurate assessment of what I said because my reason is I don't really spend on my AA cards. It's a benefit that I get from having them because the Globe card, I'm spending. I really don't even spend it on the Globe card because the way that the AA status boosts work on the executive and on the Globe card is they are a boost that's based upon your total loyalty points or your flying. So with the executive card, it doesn't matter if you ever spend $1 on that card. If you have the card and you hit 50,000 loyalty points through any means, you're going to get 10,000 more. Then if you hit 90,000 loyalty points through any means, you're going to get another 10,000 more. So it's not really a spending bonus. The other thing is the Globe card. It's 5,000 point boosts for your loyalty points every time you do 4 segments. So it doesn't matter if you spend on the card or not. If you're flying 4 segments, paid segments on American, however you paid for it, you're getting it. So I don't really do spending bonuses on any of my cards, with the exception of just my Bilt card trying to get to higher status to get better transfers. But I'm not even really shooting for that. I'm really looking for the multipliers first. So yeah, like to spend on a Hilton card to get a free night cert, I would just get another Aspire card and just get it automatically. So I prefer cards that give me stuff automatically rather than the ones that you get for a specific spending bonus. So I think that it's not apples to apples when you're comparing what I do with American cards versus like spending X amount to get lounge status for companions or spending X amount to get another free night cert or whatever it may be. So that's just not been part of my strategy. And I don't have any plans to shift that right now. I considered the Surpass card in the past, but it's like I don't mind annual fees that bad. So just the way I budget and stuff, I can work it out, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in this live tonight. So yeah, I just not something I focus on. So I don't really do them, and I don't really plan to. So I hope, Rob, that kind of answers your question. Nuracan's on board. Good evening, Nuracan. Good to see you, my friend. King J says, glad to finally catch a live. Love your content. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Sometimes I don't know if it's hitting people and being helpful to them or not. So any comments like that are always greatly, greatly appreciated. Medic says, howdy, sir. Good to see you, Medic. Good to have you on board. Henry Louisville 1. Henry says, my family have stacked 3 Explorer cards, give all 6 club passes to daughter unit every year. Works out perfect for her here to travel back and forth to college. Yeah, I used to do that with my daughter and those passes with when I was a big United flyer and we had 2 United Explorer cards. I'd always give my daughter when she was traveling. Like she had to go and out of the country thing, and I would just snapshot it and text it to her, and it worked good. And the way I understand it is the AA ones work that way now. So we haven't tried it yet because I have some on my Globe card I have no use for because I have the executive card. But Nona, like today, Nona traveled by herself, and she gets 4 passes with the City Elite card. But we're going to try for me to send her some of my passes and see if those work. So I've heard that they do, so we'll find out. Henry says, my family stacked. Yeah, we just did that one. Sleepy Rod, I don't think I'll ever be under 524. It sucks. I want the IHG card and the Explorer card, but just not worth waiting for them to pass on subs. Yeah, I get it. That's always a pain. We haven't been under 524 in a long time. I think both Nona and I can do it if we garden a little bit. And so we just do upgrade cards and stuff like that. Bonus I'm working on right now, we're working on 2. One's for MX Platinum, but the other one is for, I haven't started yet on it because you get 6 months, but it's an upgrade with the Delta to the Delta Platinum, Delta Gold to Delta Platinum. So we may garden a little bit just to try to get under that 524 because I do want another ink card. I only have one. The way I understand it, it's pretty easy to have two now, but after that, the train ends. Also, I'm thinking about, I've had the reserve and the prestige and the premier card with Sapphire, but Nona's only had the Sapphire preferred card. And so I'm thinking about trying out the CSR in her name just for 1 year, just to get that big sign up bonus. So we're thinking about the same things, but yeah, the 524 thing it's a pain for those of us who are heavy into this for sure. King J 1985. Hey King, good to have you here. Last month, I redeemed 2 Hilton free night certs at the Waldorf Astoria in DC with taxes and fees. The cash price would have been $1,200 a night. Yep. We did ours at the Conrad Fort Lauderdale last year. Haven't made a plan yet for ours this year. We usually do it in the fall. So I don't know what we'll do this time, but I always try to get close to $1,000 a night or more. So that's a good use of that. Now, my kids have it, and they just went to the beach. And for them, they used it at a $400 property, but they don't travel much. They have 3 little kids. I think that was a pretty good use of their credit. So it's just kind of, I wasn't it would have made my skin crawl to use it for $400 stay, but for them, it worked out good for them. Excuse me. I have a little bit of asthma today, so I'm struggling through this, but I think we'll be all right. Medic says, I know you have made videos before about free night certs. Yeah. In fact, we're going to talk about it some tonight when I get to the centerpiece. So we'll talk about that. Let's see. Rob says, yes, thank you for answering my question. Yeah. So see, to me, the cards that may seem on the surface like I'm doing a spend bonus, but I'm really not, because those cards give that benefit for other things. So that's kind of how I've stacked it out. American Tarmacker 514 channel member. Good to have you here, Tarmacker. Says, how do people have so many Aspires and Brilliance? That's a lot of money. Yeah. And you want to see a lot of money. We're getting ready to get to it because but I'm a baby in this compared to some. I mean, if Dem gets on here or if Point CFO gets on here, those guys have a lot more. So there are folks who have big annual fees. Mine are running right at about $7,000 a year, and I'm going to get into those. I'm going to do my 12 big travel, cards and talk about some of the credits and things. And so we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, it just depends. For me, I know that some in the community, like Chad's Money Minutes, who I greatly respect, but a lot of us creators are nuanced, right? So we see things differently. My style is very different than some others. Like, I just really like Dugras, but Dugras travel style is totally different. I do a lot of collaboration stuff with Travis White. Travis is a total economy traveler. We're on opposite ends of the spectrum, but we can still respect each other. But the deal is that some folks like Chad always says he can't stand the effective annual fee statement. Well, to me, I really do look at it that way because I budget very tightly. I mean, I always have. This isn't new to my credit card thing. I've always done that. I mean, super, super detailed budgeting. It's just how my mind works. And it makes me comfortable in my finances. And it's been very good to me through the years. Let me tell you, anybody says budgeting doesn't matter, it can be, even back when we were very low income, it gave us a lifestyle that was better than it would have been had we not been managing our money well. And so I've just took that and transferred it over to credit cards. So I have a budget line item for annual fees. I have others that come out of my business expenses, and I keep track of all the credits, and I kind of redeposit those credits back into different line item accounts. And so that's kind of how I manage it all. I don't think I have effective annual fee of negative at all. I think I get back more, and we'll talk about that more as we get into the main event, the centerpiece today. Just Gaming is here and says, hey, Rewards Master, good to have you. And Mike Newland, my good friend, one of our spreadsheet warriors, friend of the channel and many channels, says, Nona got upgraded to business on the way home. Nice. How was lonely premium economy? Well, she actually got upgraded. You saw her video. So if y'all haven't went over, she put up a new video for Milan. She's got lots of content that we're working on. It's going to be up. Please go over and support her. She's so excited to get a real channel, so she's like, I want to get to 500 subscribers. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to Awaken channel Travels with Nona and Bop, there's a link down below. It won't even offend me if you take a minute from the live and jump over there and subscribe, come back and then watch her videos later, whatever, but it'll really encourage her. But no, Mike, she actually got my upgrade because, I mean, she gets upgraded with me, but there was one seat available and it was on kind of the commuter flight between JFK back to Memphis. So yes, I sat back in main cabin extra. I gave it to her and she was bragging. Let me tell you, she thought that was funny. So she put it in her video. So did you see the bloopers at the end? Her bloopers, she cracks me up. I guess if you can be married over 30 years, you should be able to laugh with each other. So, oh, and by the way, I wanted to say something else. Mike, tonight, Mike Newland is the inspiration of tonight. I had something else totally planned for today, but he sent me a message earlier today and said, hey, I was going to ask this in your live, and I decided to revamp everything. So I've had a super busy day, but I've been cramming and trying to get together, and I even got some slides together on it. So what we're going to talk about today, Mike inspired this. I think it was probably ultimately inspired by something Greg, this frequent miler, did in the past that I've noticed, where he talked about these credits back on cards, and he did it from the perspective of what would I be willing to prepay for these credits? And the thing is it's an informative kind of exercise, but it's not a comprehensive exercise. And you're going to see that as we get into it, because my very favorite card in the world didn't come out very good. And some of the cards I don't value quite as highly came out really well. So it's not a comprehensive exercise, but it is an informative one. And we're going to get to that. And I want to thank Mike for sending me that message, because I hope it'll be good content. I hope you enjoy it. A-Tier, channel member. Good to have you here, A-Tier. Says, I just booked hotel through Rove. Wow, what a value. Marriott hotel through Marriott, $33,000 plus Rove, $16,000 for refundable and with status available. That Rove thing, I mean, I don't book hotels on points, but that Rove thing is pretty awesome. And I'm using so many credits that I don't really have a lot extra. And I've used American Airlines hotels when I do to get more status. But yeah, that Rove thing is really interesting to me. I'm diving into it some. I have an account now, and hopefully I'll be able to, share more about it in the future. But that's awesome. Good job, A-Tier. That's awesome. Medic 624 says, to Tarmacker, I really wonder with them if most people actually recoup that price or break even. Seems like a lot of headache. Here's the thing about headache in this, because there's a lot of emphasis. And a video I did last week on different types of credit card users, and I think I had 10 different types. It's interesting because some of us, I don't mind the credits. It's fun for me. And I know there are some of you that's true, and some of you that you think that's a nightmare, and that's okay. We're all different. But to me, it's a game that occupies my mind. I've always been a person who, my jobs, I have more than one. I'm a professor, and I also work for a church. So I do more than one job, but I've been doing those jobs for a long, long time, and I'm pretty skilled at them. So I like things to occupy my mind. And what that is this hobby. And to me, it's a game. I've always been a high level gamer. I don't mean video gamer. I mean Axis and Allies that we leave out. It's a board game that's like a war game, super complex. And my son and I would leave it out for 2 months, play the same game. And then we got into more high level games like, Twilight Imperium, which is like a space game that we would leave out for 6 months and play it. I mean, I'm a gamer. I'm a strategist. This is the ultimate game to me that I want to win. And I think a lot of folks think of it that way. And so I realize that some people don't, and that's okay. I get it. Nona would never be able to think of it that way. She can't play a game that lasts over 30 minutes. She can't do it. It's just not what exhilarates her. But for some of us, it exhilarates us. And I think that's kind of part of it. Stinky Monkey, baby, happy Sunday night. Hit that like button. Yeah, please do that. and gives a $2 gift. Thank you so much. Thank you. You not only do you have the best name on YouTube, you also are super generous. So thank you for that. Appreciate it very much. Jessica Wynn says, hey, Rewards Master and everyone, have you flown British Airways business class suites before? I've flown British Airways business class, but not their suites. And their business class on the old 380 is the worst. And we just flew Swiss, which wasn't great either. And, you know, I feel weird about complaining about that because any business class is way better than sitting in the back. But compared to the others we've done, I mean, we went back to back from Emirates to Swiss, and Swiss is the second worst. I guess I shouldn't say that way. The second least desirable of the ones that we've flown, and the least desirable is definitely the old British Airways. It was not good, but I haven't done the suites. But I don't know if I will because I'm not sure I'm willing to pay $700 to $1,000 in taxes and fees. K-State Nate is here. It says, hello, RM. Nate, good to have you here on board. Rob says, you said that you like to focus on points on airline redemptions. Have you ever stayed in any of those $2,000 night hotels to see what you might be missing? Well, no, we stay in nice hotels though. I mean, we do reviews for Nona's channel on FHR bookings, which are nice hotels, and we've stayed in $1,200 a night hotels. So, I mean, you know, I guess that we haven't stayed in a $2,000 a night hotel, but I think a $1,200 a night hotel is pretty nice. I mean, some really nice Conrads, some Waldorf Astorias, stuff like that. So, Sleepy Rod, effective annual fee is a good metric. Okay. So there's some other people agree with me. And there's, like we said, people I respect have alternative positions. That's all right. Mike Newland, it's still hers, your points, but hers. Oh yeah. Okay. You know, I always say that we don't do the earn and burn thing because, you know, I stack up points and I do speculative transfers and all these things that other people hate, right? I mean, I get a lot of flack for it, but, you know, I do points hoarding and all that, but we do earn and burn because Bop earns them and Nona burns them. So that's definitely earn and burn. Dim, main cabin extra isn't. No, is this again, Dim? Okay. Main cabin extra. No, because I get it when I book. I just get it automatically. Nuracan says hello to Dim. Mike says that's some spicy content. Dim says hello back. Oh, you guys in the upgrades. I got to get that t-shirt made. Dim made me a good one, by the way. Dim is here. Stinky monkey, baby. Dim's in the house. Dim, your popular guy tonight. Uris Boo says, hey, Bop, how was Lake Como? Flying to Italy for 7 nights, JFK to MXP, AA on points. I'm doing the lakes 2 nights and a day trip to Turin. Yeah, you're going to like it. Let me tell you, there's this little restaurant, and it'll be in our video about Como. That should come out in the next week or two. But, man, if you've never tried a horse steak, I know that sounds nuts, but I just did it as a joke because it was on the menu for all the people from church that were there with us that were appalled by this. But Bob ate him a horse steak, and it was the best steak I had on the trip. So you may not be up for that, but if you are and you go to that place, you will not be disappointed. But Como was beautiful. Looking at all the villas, went to Bellagio. It was awesome. Milan was okay. The Nona's video is out on Milan right now at Away Again, so check that out. But it was all right. Zurich was beautiful. It's so clean, so nice. But doggone, there is nowhere in this world that we've been that costs more to eat than in Zurich, Switzerland. I mean, Nona and I were splitting meals, and we don't do that. I mean, we eat out, you know, it's no big deal. But man, it was expensive. We got a hot dog, 2 hot dogs from a street vendor and a water, and it was $40 for 2 hot dogs and a water. I mean, it was rough. So, but beautiful place to visit. Probably won't go back, but it was a beautiful place. Points Dexter 73 channel member says, good evening, everybody. On a Delta flight from Las Vegas to LAX, I got my upgrade to Delta Plus. Okay. Good. Comfort Plus. If it's an upgrade for you, that is great. I'm happy for you. Tarmacker says, I can't lie. I enjoy the credit card game. That's why I'm here. That I think anybody who watches lives diligently, I think we're all gamers. Christian Z says to A tier, what is Rove and the best way to use it? Rove is a new points currency that's based around hotel bookings. So you can look it up. I have a referral link. I'll try to put it on my channel post, but Rove is, and when you sign up through a referral link, I think you get 1,000 points. Is it 500 or 1,000, something like that? But man, you can get a lot. The hotels are slightly more expensive, but you get a lot of returns. And a lot of the hotels, you can also use your loyalty and get points with the hotel. That's what A tier was talking about. It's really good. Oscar says, totally agree with that hobby mindset. For example, lots of people complain about coupon fatigue, that they may be because they're busier and have too many coupon books or don't care enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of them. I like them if I'm getting my value. If I'm not getting my value, I don't. And that's what tonight is really going to be about. JB Rothman, hey, Bob, what card do you put taxes on since Built and Robinhood, I think that's what RH is, have no benefit? I'm gardening now, so I went for FNRs on our surpasses. Well, I'm almost always working on a sign-up bonus, and I use my, usually I've got an Amex sign-up bonus I'm working on, and I usually put my taxes on there. I have several big, I have every month I have utilities that are pretty big bills. I have my church contribution that's a pretty significant amount, and then taxes, because I do pay quarterly taxes. So that those things I'm always using for sign-up bonuses usually. So that's kind of usually what I do. If it wasn't for the sign-up bonus, I would probably put it on either Venture X or maybe City Elite just to get the 1.5. But I might put it on an AA card before just to get the loyalty points. So done a lot of things in the past. Dem gives a wave. Nicolasia says, have you flown Virgin Airlines? I flew their premium economy. Man, that was a deal. Like $200 in taxes and fees and 10,000 points to London. Yeah, but I haven't flown their business class. But yes, I've flown their premium economy. It was nice. We liked it. Dem says, hey, Medic and Stinky Monkey. Medic says, my wife is an expert at earning as well, sometimes a little too good. Earning or burning? Because, man, if Nona was an expert at earning, boy, that'd be awesome. But she's an expert at burning. Maldonado Jack says, hello, Rewards Master. Have most of the cards I want, Palladium, CSR, Venture X, Amex Gold, Delta Gold, and Platinum. But I want to expand to Atmos or City. Which one is best now in 2026? Well, the Summit card is awesome if you travel out of the country, especially, or if you're trying to get Alaska status. But I think the Elite card's pretty good too. So either one of those, especially if you get an elevated bonus on either one. Yuri says, hi, guys. Hey, good to have you, Yuri. Good to have you on board. Calderd says, what high annual fee card do you currently not have but want to pick up? Like I said, for the bonus, we might do the CSR under Nona's name. I can't get it again, a bonus on it because I've had it before. Probably the Summit card. That's coming up, I think, for me in the future. So those would be the two high annual fee cards probably going to try to pick up. Dem says Virgin Upper Class is awesome. Yeah, plan to fly it one of these days. Just haven't done that yet. Sleepy Rod, Yuri G, and Yuri Spoo are not the same person. I don't think so. Which one of y'all is the Yuri that was at the meetup in Sacramento? Let me know, because that way I can identify the difference between the two. Dem, for the person who asked, M2K, good to have you on board. Would you recommend Lake Como for a family with 2 toddlers? Sure. Yeah, I mean, it was nice. And didn't feel unsafe. It was lovely. I mean, there's things to do there. I mean, especially if you like lake tours. We did this all-day lake tour. It was really awesome. You can ride that funicular thing, that big, I don't. It's a funicular, if you know what that is. And so you ride that tram thing up to the top. It's gorgeous. It's just a relaxed place. Very nice. We rode the train there from Milan. It was nice. Yuri says, Sleepy Rod, no, not the same person. Yuri Gagarin is also a different person. A lot of Yuris on here. So yeah. Medic says, I'm trying Virgin upper class this summer. Looking forward to the clubhouse on the way back. Got the saver seats with a 40% bonus. Awesome. Yeah, those transfer bonuses to Virgin are solid. Dim says, Medic, the taxes are hefty. And are you flying through LHR? Dim says, but they're worth it. The taxes are worth it. They are. I mean, they're heavy on Virgin. There's no doubt. Yours Boo, I do a horse steak at I'll do a horse steak at Como. Okay. Saw the Milan video on Nona's channel. Flying out May 17th. I've been to Switzerland a few times. It's beautiful, but it is expensive. Let me tell you, I heard it was expensive, but it really is. I mean, it's just more. It's just more. Rob Knopper says, how would you pay to upgrade to Comfort Plus seats from economy? How much would you pay? Ooh, I typically don't pay to upgrade to those seats. If I were going to, I might do $75, depending on how far it is, $100. I don't know. If it was a longer flight, over 2 hours, but I wouldn't probably upgrade under 2 to 3 hours. It just makes me shiver to think to pay for those seats because it's not an upgrade, right? So Medic says, yeah, the taxes were not that great, but I'm not scared to pay cash for flights either. Makes sense. I'm kind of the same way. Nurican, I avoid going through LHR even as a non-revenue traveler. The taxes are outrageous. They're bad. They are bad. So true. Background Balloon says, another live. Fire. Thanks. Appreciate that. Balloon, good to have you here. Yuri G says, PayPal cashback MasterCard is great for taxes. Okay. Christian Z, I love Bill, but just realized authorized users don't get benefit of points accelerator, and you can't use the main built cash to add one to an authorized user. That sucks. Okay. Yeah, I don't have an authorized user, so I haven't ran into that, but I have heard that from others before. So that could be definitely in certain circumstances be a downside for sure. The Medic says this was also before the last increase. We decided on LHR since there are some things we want to do in London and ride the Eurostar to Paris. I've done the Eurostar to Paris. It's pretty fun. I like it. Going underneath the channel. Christian Z, yeah, that stinks. Yuri G, you're the one that was in Sacramento. All right. I know you, Yuri, because we've been there together, and then you were at of course, the meetup in Puerto Rico. So, yeah, you're the guy with all the cards. My son was fascinated by your notebook of cards. He talked about that all the drive home. That guy has so many cards. He was fascinated, especially since he only has 2 credit cards. So he was really fascinated by that. Points Dexter, I called and canceled the authorized user. They refunded the $95. Such a shame. Now my wife can only use my card with locations that use Apple Pay, so no Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Makes sense. At least that she can use it some places with Apple Pay. Yuri G, I bet nobody here knows who Yuri Gagarin is. I don't know. Maybe somebody will respond. Rob says, sorry for asking random questions today. When you are starting your flight search and nothing good is available through points, do you wait or do you buy a refundable cash fare? I usually buy an economy redemption fare because I know I can cancel it with one of the big 3. So I'll buy it with American or United or sometimes Delta because I know I can cancel it when I find something better. So I kind of use it as a placeholder. JB Rothman, channel member, says Yuri G is the first man in space. Okay. First man in space. I should know that. I'm a professor of history, but that's not my field of history. So, all right. Yuri G, if you fly on AA from LHR, then the taxes are low. Yeah. AA does have very good taxes on stuff like that. Points Dexter, I think I'll do Christian Z. I think I'll do that and then have my wife apply for the Obsidian. Yeah, the combo of the two can be very good. Whitney Bubba says, new guy here, channel member. Good to have you. Says, daughter going to school in Phoenix. I live in the Seattle area. What would you recommend card-wise for regular flights back and forth? Alaska, Delta, was thinking Built Atmos. Thanks. Yeah, if you're in Seattle, then I would definitely go with Atmos because, man, you're going to get better rates. I don't know if that flight in Phoenix to Seattle, it probably is going to code where it's going to be that 7,500 points on American. So, yeah, I just don't think there's no doubt you're going to get a better deal and you're going to get better returns with Atmos than you are with Delta. I mean, that's just kind of doesn't even need to be said. It's so true. Swish-ish, Swice-ish. Good to have you here. Missed this go live. Work to be here. Love your critical thinking. Keep it up. Appreciate that. Good to have you here. Let's see. M2K says Gergen is the first man in space. Yeah, we've recognized that. Swice says also, anybody know if Build has any hard rules for approval like 524? Up of 5 cards this year, and I'm looking to get the Palladium. I think a lot of folks who've opened 5 cards have gotten it, but of course, there's never a guarantee. That's just kind of, you're taking a chance on anything like that, unless it's Amex that's got the, do you want to proceed thing. So yeah, I mean, I think you probably have a shot, but that's, if anybody has any more information, put it down in the comments. Medic, if you really want to get it, I say go for it. I don't really care about hard pulls. And then my good friend Mike, great friend of the channel, gives 10 Rewards Master memberships. Thank you, Mike. Since Dugras did my imitation on his live the other day, he does this Rewards Master imitation that I don't think sounds like me at all, but still celebrate. I don't know. Was that a very good one? I don't know. But I just thought I'd give him an invitation in return. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Jay Kelsey got one, says thank you to Mike Newland. Yuri G says, I want to get bread rewards. Bread rewards. I'm not familiar with that. And then let's see. Medic 624 says, Mike is definitely the GOAT. Mike is the man. He keeps us all going on here. That's for sure. And he is the inspiration of tonight's topic. So let's add it to the stage. And I didn't really have time to do intros and things, but I worked on this today. And today's been crazy. So let me tell you, my son and his sweet little wife, they're 26 years old. They live in California. They own a little house that they were able to buy because it's California, because they can't get much. But they went to a hardware store and a TV show was interviewing people, and they got chosen to do like a home makeover thing. And it's happening. The big reveal is tomorrow. And so Nona was just telling me, even though we just got back from Italy and Switzerland, she was saying yesterday, boy, I'd really like to go out there and be with them for that. And it doesn't hurt that we have a grandchild out there also. So she's like, I really want it. So you know what? Bought her a ticket with points. And I got up and I work on Sunday. So I got up at 2:00 this morning and drove her to the airport. So if I'm a little out of it tonight, that's why. But she is out there. And so today's been a crazy day, and I had to get a little bit of a nap this afternoon. So that's why we're at a different time tonight. So that's kind of what brought this about. And that's why I was kind of cramped on time today. But Mike sent me this message today. I thought it was a great idea for a live. So here we are. What this is a while ago, Greg the Frequent Miler did something with Nick where they were talking about getting back. It was basically about effective annual fee and what are the credits really worth? And the angle they took on this was that the credits are worth what you would be willing to pay for those credits in advance. So like, if somebody's going to give you $100 gift card, like you can buy, like my kids do this all the time. They go into Costco and they buy like a Olive Garden gift card, and $100 Olive Garden gift card is sold for like $80 at Costco. So what would you be willing to pay for that gift card, right? That's the question. And that's kind of the angle that they took. Now, I'm going to tell you that I went through this today, and some of these numbers I kind of had to, just make a guesstimate of what I thought in the moment. Others of them, I tried to be kind of consistent, but this is what I would be willing to pay in advance for these benefits. And I added up the totals and the gain or loss. And then at the end, I kind of listed the cards in two categories, gain and loss. But it's not a comprehensive picture because some of the cards that ranked pretty good on what I'd be willing to pay in advance aren't really my favorite cards. And some of the ones that were in the negative are some of my favorite cards. And it's because there are other factors in each of these cards that can't be quantified by this type of math, because I'm not figuring the earning rate on the card. I'm not figuring some of the soft factors of the card, like, what is it going to give me in regard to like built status, right? Stuff like that. What does this card earn? Or this card gives me 10x on AA hotels, which is very valuable to me, but wouldn't be to somebody else. So I don't want this to seem like a hard, fast, well, that card's positive, that card's negative. It's not really useful for that. But it is useful, I think, just as a tool. So, Mike, thank you for the idea. I hope this is what you were thinking of. Rob says, what Points and Miles blogs do you regularly read? I read like Doctor of Credit. I pretty much look that up. Not every day, but most days. That's really the one that I read probably the most. But I do occasionally check out some of the others as well. Mike Newland, did she get the upgrade? No, but she was supposed to have 2 layovers going, and American had some kind of maintenance thing or something, and they put her on a direct flight out to California from DFW. So she got there like 3 hours earlier than she was going to, and she was quite excited. That's 3 more hours of grandbaby time. So she was quite excited. Jimmy Duff says, hello, Bob. Hey, my friend, Jimmy, channel member, always here. Good to have you, Jimmy. Vincent Pascal has been a member for 6 months. Thank you, Vincent. I'm so happy for that. Happy Sunday, Bob. Happy Sunday to you, Vincent. Sleepy Rod says, Mike, the GOAT strikes again. Yes, he does. Okay, and I'm having trouble getting to these. Mike says, everybody's welcome. Watch his members only video. They're fire. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I just put one out this morning. In fact, had my suit on, ready to walk out the door for church, and I just thought, I need to record this thought. So that's what I think today was on repositioning flights, but I try to put something out every week in channel member videos. Okay, so let's go through the first card. I'm going from the least expensive. I'm only doing my high dollar cards. I've got, of course, like the Hyatt card that's $95. That's a for sure effective annual fee you're getting back because of the free night. I'm not including the $95 cards, the $150 cards. I'm only including what I would call the high-end cards. So I'm starting this list at $350 a year in annual fees. And there are 12 of them. I have 12 cards between Nona and I that are at least $350 a year or more. So these are the ones that we're going to evaluate. Here's the first one. The American Airlines Globe card. This is a pretty new card on the market. It came out, 6 months ago, something like that, 8 months ago. And it has several things that are available on it. It's a mid-tier card. Of course, it gives things like free bags. And some of the things I don't even list that are like irrelevant. I have status with American. Free bags is irrelevant to me. And I never pack a bag. I never check a bag, ever. So that's irrelevant. Nona does, but only when she's traveling for work. And it wouldn't matter if she had to pay for it because work pays for that. So we just don't check bags. So those are irrelevant. I don't even mention them. Things like Equinox credit, I'm not even going to consider that ridiculousness. So we're not even looking at some of that. So I could miss some things in here that might be valuable to other people, but they're just not valuable to me. $100 in-flight. So that's what they did to replace like the silver card, the Aviator Silver card that gave you like $25 a day, which was way better. But they give you $100 in-flight credit. I count that at $20. That's what I would pay. Now it's worth more than $20. You understand? That's true on almost all of these. I use it more than $20. I get back more than that. But the question is, how much would I pay in advance to get this? And I would only pay $20 for that because I mean, it's snack boxes. It's a cool extra, but it's not something I'm just not going to invest in that, right? Now, the $100 splurge credit can be used at American Airlines hotels. And if I didn't have so many hotel credits, then this would probably be worth more, but I'm figuring that at $50. I would prepay $50 to get a $100 credit at AA hotels. Because I do like AA hotels. I do get some status earnings, stuff like that. So that's good. The $240 Turo credit is absolutely stupid and ridiculous, in my opinion. I've never rented a Turo. I'm not going to rent somebody's 96 Honda Accord. I mean, I'm just not going to do that. So it's just, I'm never going to use that. And it's also a ridiculous credit, the way it's broken up. It's worth zero. It's just not worth anything to me. The lounge passes. Now, these 4 American Airlines lounge passes, those are used by Nona, and they have value. And I'm figuring most lounge visits in this evaluation at $15 each. And because I tried to think how much, if I had a layover, how much am I willing to pay to not be in the main airport, to have access to food and drinks and a comfortable seat and some Wi-Fi to be able to work? And my answer is I would pay $15. So that's how I'm figuring it. So the lounge, those 4 lounge passes with American, and American ones are probably a little more valuable to us because we fly American more. $60. Status earnings. Now this card gives those 3 status earnings. And I figure I would pay cash money for 5,000 loyalty points. I'd pay $50. And you get that 3 times. So that is worth $150 to me. And then the companion cert. Now, the Delta one's worth more to me because this one, the companion cert, you got to pay $100. So if I were to get a companion certificate that cost me $100 when I book it, how much would I prepay to get that companion certificate? And the answer, since most of the time we fly on points if it's not for work, the answer is I'd pay $100 for that. So it comes out to $380 that I'm getting in credit. The card costs $350. So I was surprised on this one. I really was. I didn't know that with this kind of stringent model, if the Globe card would have a positive return. But even in this stringent model of what I would prepay for, still getting back $30 over the annual fee, which I thought was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Okay, let's go back to some comments for a minute. Henry Louisville says, thinking that when Built and Prestige card pull back, then Ritz will be RM's favorite. I'm starting to like the Ritz card. I really am. I mean, the earnings are just horrendous. I mean, I don't want to earn Marriott points ever, ever, ever. But man, that customer service is unbelievable. And we haven't used the free night cert yet. It did post to my account, so we'll let you know because we're planning to use it this fall on our big trip. But yeah, hopefully that Prestige card is just going to get forgotten about and I'll get to keep it forever. But I don't know. I kind of like the Elite card. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Medic, direct flight is definitely an upgrade. Yeah, that's true. Direct flights are nice, especially when there's a grandbaby waiting for Nona. Mike Newland, that's an upgrade then. Now that, I will agree, that is an upgrade. That's for sure. Henry says, I put daughter first class when coming home after school year if she makes all A's. Fun perk for a job well done. That is creative. That's awesome. If she makes all A's, that's a great way. We need to motivate kids to do. I had all sorts of metrics in our family when we were raising our kids too. Let me see. This thing sometimes gets past me. There we go. Christian says lounge passes are worth more. Food and 3 cocktails, about $60 per pass. Yeah, I mean, I could see that somebody could milk it for that, but the question is, and I think I get more value than this. The question is, how much would I pay for it? You know, if I'm going to go in, how much am I going to pay for it? And for me, the answer is I'm going to pay $15. Somebody else's might have a different criteria. But yeah, I agree, Christian. I get more than that $15, I think, in value, but that's what I'd pay for it. Dugross, greeting from Holiday Inn, West Virginia. Hey, yeah, I just did my imitation in return for yours of me the other day, Dugross. So I don't know if you saw that, but it was it was it was beautiful. It was classic. You might not think so. Swice says just sent in and got approved for the Palladium just now while we're doing the live. That's awesome. That's awesome. Worth noting, I got a pop up that my credit would not be impacted if I was denied and would only be hard pulled if I accepted when approved. Cool. They're doing the MX thing. That's awesome. Sleepy Rod Dugras is here. Celebrate. Celebrate. Yeah, there we go. And Matt Clausen is on board. Hey, Matt. Matt's got a channel where he does a lot of news and things. Check that out. Okay, so let me move on to the next card. So that's the Globe card. Tell me if you got any comments on the Globe card. Let me know. All right, the Delta Sky Miles Platinum card. I just got upgraded to this. I haven't even put $1. Well, yes, I did because I did my Resi on it the other day. $10 a month on Resi. But that's all I put on the thing so far. So this card, I did an upgrade offer from the Amex Gold, the Delta Gold with Amex. And so how valuable is it? Well, $120 Resi credit. I would prepay $60 for that because we only have one Resi restaurant in town, but we use them sometimes out of town too. But I would prepay half of that. I mean, it's for prepaying it because I'm stuck with one restaurant in town to do it. So that's what I would do. $60 for the 120. And you can see I'm being very conservative here. I'm trying to be very conservative with these. So I'm getting back way more value than that because I get my Resi credit every month because I just go buy a gift card if I'm not going to go there. But I'm trying to ask, what would I pay in advance for this? What would I pay for this coupon, so to speak? The $100 and $20 ride share, I use that every month too. I just load it in my Lyft account. And I would pay the same, 50%, $60 for that because I have to put in $25. So I'm having to spend extra on that every month. So it's annoying. So I would pay $60 for that. The $150 hotels, I think that the Delta Stays is pretty good because you only have to stay one night. So, and it's run by Expedia. It just works well. I would pay $100. So 66% of the face value. That's what I'd pay for that to get a 33% discount. I'd pay that. The status boost, 2,500 medallion points. I'd probably pay more, but I was just trying to be conservative. I'd pay $100 for that because that means I'd be paying $200 cash for silver status. Yeah, I probably rated that too low, to be honest, but still. And the companion certificate, where I put the other one at 100 and I think 150. Is that what I did on the other one? Hold on. Yeah, 100 because they have to pay the 100. You don't have to with this one. So that companion certificate, we're going to have a $400 ticket. I think I would prepay $200. Now, it isn't good on every flight. Sometimes they're expensive. It is Delta. So I just trying to be conservative. I would pay $200 for that. So even at those very conservative numbers, the Delta Platinum card is like it's a winner. I mean, it's awesome. $520 in gain in total, and a gain of $170 over the $350 annual fee. That's a good card. I mean, that's a good card. And I was pleased, even under this conservative evaluation, I was pleased with that. Let's see. I don't think we have any comments as of right now that are new, but let's see. We have 79 on board watching and 33 people have hit the like button. That's awesome. Please, if you haven't done that, especially if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that. And so, okay. So there's no more comments. So let's move on to the next card on the list. Okay, I'm confused as to why there were way more than 2 slides. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to try to add it again. Hold on. Bear with me. Let's see if that made a difference. No, it's only showing 2 slides, and there are supposed to be 12 on this. I don't know what happened there. We'll try it under a different thing. Upload it again and see what happens. Just bear with me for just a second. I know this is like wasting time, but not intentionally. All right. This is going to take just a second to upload. So while it's uploading, any comments, anything anybody wants to discuss? What about those 2 cards, those $350 airline cards, the Globe, and then also the Delta Platinum? Which one do you think's better? I think that both of them have definite benefits, but it kind of depends on which airline you're flying the most. Let's see. We got some new comments here. Yuri says, Prestige still stands. Yep, it's still here with us. I love it. Dugras at the Holiday Inn is so Dugras. He is Dugras. He has his own travel style. That's awesome to be able to just, he chronicles it so well. Medic, in the past when I tracked it, it was spreadsheets and whatnot. I value lounge visits around $20. Okay, so we're close. I said 15, you said 20. Dugras, celebrate. Sleepy Rod, I'm hoping built rent day transfer bonus this month or next after the Rakuten payout. Yeah. Rent day transfer bonus this month. Yeah. They haven't announced what it is yet, have they? Because I haven't noticed, but I haven't really looked. So, Medic says to Swish, congrats. Just Gaming says, wow. And Mike says, so you're saying you would normally eat at that restaurant. I don't feel confident in your answer on that Resi restaurant that you normally eat there. Yeah, we do eat there. We eat there probably once a month. So yeah, we eat there, but would I pay in advance for it? I mean, that's the question. Henry says, heard that the edit went from 2 cents per point to 1.65 cents per point downgrade on a lot of their properties. It was already worth nothing for me, but now worth less 30.35. Yeah, I've heard that as well. And I don't have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, so I've not even really looked at it, but yeah, they're tinkering with stuff so much. Medic says, Henry, there's a lot of swing in it. I noticed the IHG seemed to trend closer to the 2 mark from what I've been looking at. So yeah, maybe different brands will make a difference on that. Family Travel John says, can't wait to hear about the great lift credit on the executive card. Yeah, I don't know if that one or the Turo. What is it with the American cards and these terrible credits? Dugras, do you like credit cards? Yes, I do. Calderas, I think Delta Platinum is easier to get value from, but both are good cards for a status chaser at a low fee. That's right. Now, they're way better than the United cards are for status. United cards just don't get you much for status. It's just a fact. Keg, Tap, 1414. Good to have you here, Keg. I like the thought process on how you're evaluating each. Plus, my numbers might be different because what's important to me might be different. That's an absolute fact. Absolutely. And then Rob says, do you have a way to keep track of how many points and miles you have in each program and when it expires? I have a spreadsheet, but barely ever update it because it's time consuming. I update my spreadsheet that has all my points and miles on a monthly basis. On the first of the month, I have several little things I do. It takes me an hour or two, but it's fun. I mean, I love it. I love inputting how many points I got in all these programs. So yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. All right, let me put this other one to the stage and see if it's any better. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we fixed the problem. Good deal. Next one on the list, the American Express Business Gold Card. I do not have the personal gold, but I do have the business gold. So the business gold is $375. It doesn't have a lot of credits. It does have good multipliers. 4X categories, 2 4X categories in the categories that you use the most in. I can't really use those much though, because they're not really things I don't have better categories in somewhere else. Like one of them's gas. That's great, but I have custom cash cards, so I'm going to do that. But I basically did it for the sign up bonus, and I'll probably do another one for the sign up bonus. But this card is a $375 card. It has $150 Walmart Plus credit, and we really like the Walmart Plus credit, but we're taking that credit on the MX Platinum. So for this card, it's a 0. And on the $240 Grubhub office supply, again, I use Grubhub. I used it tonight actually to get some Taco Bell on the way home from town, and I use my Grubhub credits on all my different cards, but it does take a little effort. It costs a little more, so I'm going to figure those at 50% to be conservative. So the total on this card is $120, and that is a negative $255 on this card. And so I'll say this. This is not a card that I think highly of, although the 4X multipliers for some people could be great, but this is a points card when it comes to sign-up bonuses. I mean, if you spend the $15,000, you can get 150 to 200,000 points on this card. So that's why there'll probably always be one in my wallet, because this is a great card for getting sign-up bonuses. But as far as a valuable card when it comes to these credits, I think these numbers speak for themselves. All right, we have 91 people in here. That is awesome, because the most I've ever had in a live ever was 107. So, man, if we can get over that number, that would be unbelievable. So we have 91 right now. So if you haven't hit the like button, 43 people have hit the like button. But if you would all hit the like button, we might get more people in here, because then YouTube shows it to more people. Any super chat, super sticker, even if it's a little super chat, like 99 cents or whatever, that helps to get more people. Channel membership, stuff like that. Anything. That would be awesome, because, okay, it's up to 94. We're getting close. We're what is that? 94. That's 13 away from the top I've ever had. That would be awesome. Let's see if there's any more comments. Yes, there are. Matt says, the only one that's after the Rakuten payout is June 1st. The payout is May 15th. Okay, that helps. Family Travel John says built rent day announcement will be tomorrow. Okay, I'll be looking for it. JB Rothman says, channel member, says Delta Business Platinum would be the way to go. Yep, it's very valuable if you fly Delta. JS says, good to have you here. Rewards Master, in your categorization, what would you call a person who loves perks from credit cards? So I have lounge cards for all 3 major airlines, so I can access their lounges, but I do not like hassles. I think I can't remember exactly what I called it now, but that premium traveler that was like the 4th one on the list, I think you probably fit into that category, because yeah, you want lounges. Every airline you fly, you want no hassle and you want lounges. That would be that type of credit card user. Dan, good to have you here, says, if the Globe card had something else in place of the Turo credit, it'd be much better. Might be the worst credit besides the executive lift card. Yeah, I mean, why did the American cards get the crowning? I mean, they get like 1st and 2nd place, gold medal, silver medal for the worst credits. The lift and then that Turo thing. They're just awful. They're awful. All right. Ichari says, when your kids were young, did you ever add them as a secondary user? Yep. This is funny. They still are on my old American Express, what is it called? The everyday card, just that clear card that they used to have. Still have it open because my kids are still on there. And then my Ritz-Carlton card, my son is on it so that he can have the lounge access and all that. Matt Clausen, I love how getting 1.6 cents per point is worthless. 1.6 cents per point is worthless. What do you mean, on Delta? Is that what you're getting at? Explain, Matt. I'd love to know what you mean. JS, I also have Brilliant card, so I can have platinum status for the 4 p.m. checkout. But I also have other premium cards, MS Biz Plat, etc. The Brilliant card I do not have, so it's not on this list, but it does have, I love that platinum status and free night cert, $300 hotel, dining credit. That's pretty good. JS says, I do not track small coupons. I do use larger ones such as FHR, etc. So what kind of person am I? I don't know. I think that's a hybrid. I think that's a hybrid for sure. All right, let's see. Medic says, I pay for Walmart Plus annually $99 a year. Worth it for me since the delivery and 10 cents off per gallon. Yeah, and let me tell you, it's worth it for people like Nona and I. We live on a farm out 20 minutes from town, and Walmart is the only place that delivers groceries to our door. So it's quite valuable. Oscar, Walmart Plus, I'd pay $50 because that's around the annual price for Paramount Plus, which I was paying for anyway. Makes sense. KRS, you can use the second Walmart Plus credit for the other free streaming option that Walmart offers. Hey, that's a good idea. KRS, thank you. That's a great idea. So we could get the Peacock option. That's cool, and it'd be free. That's great. Calderds, I've got the CSR, zero plans to use the edit credit. The $250 Chase travel credit is money, though. Hope it gets renewed for next year. Yeah, I don't have the CSR, so it's not on this list either, but it does have some good credits. There is just no doubt that it does. Let's see. Henry says, I figured out that my mom has a Macy's problem, so I convinced her to bet a Sapphire Preferred, get a Sapphire Preferred, put her house taxes on it for the sub, and now I have 120,000 and counting points to fly daughter for 1 to 2 years. One for the first 4 years. That's a good play. JB Rothman, for American Express Gold, Squarespace is good. I was already using it. Plus, there's a great offer on occasion that are available. Yeah, Amex offers are difficult to quantify in this because they change all the time. But that Squarespace, if I was using it already, I could count it, but I didn't even include it on here. Ellie Vanessa, the finest, member for 2 months. Great to have you here. Says, hit that like button. Yep, we've got 49 people who've liked, still over 90 watching. Haven't quite capped that 100 mark yet. That would be awesome. Sleepy Rod, are you transferring your built points anywhere? I'm waiting for an Atmos transfer bonus if it ever happens. Well, I'm going to wait and see, but I'm getting up pretty high points balance, and I'm not going to keep all those in built. So yes. After I see what the transfer bonus is going to be this time, if it isn't something I want, then I'm probably going to transfer maybe 50,000 points somewhere, probably to Atmos. So that's probably what I'll do. I'm just not, I'm loving built, but I'm just in case. I'm going to keep a stash there, maybe 50,000 points there, but the rest I'm probably going to transfer out sometime. Henry, I figured out that my mom has a Macy's. Oh, we already talked about that one. No race car, no life. Yeah, that's a cool name. My local restaurant has a buy one, get one on its food, and it's the same price as online for the Grubhub credit. Oh, that's a good deal for sure. Matt, points boost in the edit, even at 1.65, it's still better than 1 cent per point. And this is hotels. Most of the time, you're lucky to pull 1 cent per point. Yeah, on hotels. I'm not the guy to know about that because I never book hotels on points. So I always pay cash. So, but yeah, 1.65 cents per point on hotels. It's not terrible. I agree, Matt. Medic, Sleepy Rod, I dumped my Amex points to Hawaii, Alaska before that closed. If they offered an Atmos bonus, I know where they're going. Yeah, me too, for sure. I'll transfer all of them if they do an Atmos bonus. That's for sure. JB says, how about making Nona and 2 others for $175 an authorized user on the AA executive card for unlimited lounge access? Well, I could do that, but then I'm paying the extra. What is it, $195 or $175 maybe for that card? But the thing is that pretty much she has her own Venture X Capital One lounge membership. She has her own membership and access to Centurion lounges anyway. And the way it's sitting, we've got 8 one-day passes. So pretty much that covers Nona when I'm not with her. Gary Points, CFO, good to have you here. Can't recall, but did you share a recommendation for the best card to charge estimated taxes? Built and Robinhood don't allow it. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, we talked about it earlier. And I, you know, of the cards I have, and that's all I can really talk about. I I never really do it on my regular cards because it's almost always something I'm using for sign up bonuses. So like right now, I'm going to put it on an MX Plat because I know I won't get good return on that, but I do get towards the sign up bonus. But when I'm not doing that, I probably would just do my Venture X or perhaps maybe the City Elite just because of better earnings. But yeah, it's always something I'm using for a sign up bonus. I think it's a great use of sign up bonus. So KRS 1905 says Amex has consistently offered me 7,000 and 15,000 employee card offers on my Biz Plats and Biz Golds for 4K and spend. It's easy points. Okay. That's not high offers, but I mean, if you're spending it anyway, yeah, absolutely. Henry Louisville says, my Surpass anniversary is on the 16th. Have you ever heard of Amex pulling back points for a person that cancels one day prior to the anniversary? Don't want points chargebacks. Okay, so your anniversary on June 16th. Well, why would you not just wait to cancel on June 16th or whenever it posts? They're going to give you the feedback. So maybe I'm missing something there, Henry. Let me know. But yeah, I've never heard of it, but I mean, the general rule of thumb is you wait until the annual fee hits and then you cancel. JS says, Rewards Master, one hesitation you had with Atmos Summit card. One of the hesitation you had with Atmos Summit card, especially the potential 100,000 companion cert, is that you thought getting Atmos points were too hard. Now with Built, are you changing your mind? Well, the 100,000 companion cert, the problem for me is I'd have to put a lot of spend on that card. And I don't know if I would want to shift that much spend. I mean, we go overseas quite a bit, but we don't spend that much money overseas. So what am I going to put on it that I think is more valuable than on my other cards? That's kind of my hesitation. Kel Mary says, good to have you here. Why does everyone glaze Amex FHR and hate Chase Edit? You can't combine points and cash with Amex, and redeem points are worth 0.6 cents per point. But yeah, Chase is awful for reducing to 1.65. I think that people don't like it because, first of all, you got to do the 2 nights, of course. But the second thing is that it seems like the hotels are even higher. I mean, we get FHRs all the time for $300 to $400 all the time. Nice ones, Lowe's or especially Vegas or overseas, really good ones. 5-star hotels, but Edit, I think, are more. And so I that might be part of it. But yeah, and as far as the using points, I just don't use my points for hotels because I want better. I mean, to me, and I'm not criticizing anybody who does this because other people need the hotel points, but I'm just not going to burn my valuable transferable points on a below 2 cents per point redemption because I can get that even domestic flight. I was looking for Nona's flights this week, and United, all of United's flights I found were 3 cents per point or more on United, and Americans were that way too. Deltas weren't, but they were. Quadran says, how do you feel about the no annual fee strata been using it a lot for I prefer, it's the best. Okay. I think that if you pair it with the elite card, the no annual fee strata is very good. Calder, it's FHR is better since you can do 1-night stays, but you can get a lot of additional value from both programs when you stay compared to booking direct without status. True. And James says Air Canada just raised their award points cost. Did they? I got to check that out. That ain't good. We just flew back on Air Canada points on Swiss Air like last week, earlier this week. James says, or they will soon. And Yuri G says, I would rate Office Supply at 240. Yeah, because gift cards. I get it. Okay. I could use it for that, but I don't typically. Next one on the list, Capital One Venture X card. This one surprised me because I thought it would be higher because I don't like how most folks rate this one part of this, and that's the 10,000 anniversary miles. Because what most people say is you're getting back $300 on the travel credit, and you're getting back $100. No, 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 no. I mean, I suppose it's worth $100 to some people if you use their portal, but 10,000 venture miles are worth a lot more than $100 to me because I use them for business class. So I'm transferring them out. So being very conservative, the $300 travel credit is really easy to use. I value that. I would prepay $225 for that $300 credit. That's what I prepay for. $10,000 anniversary miles, I would personally pay $150 to purchase 10,000 miles with Venture One, Capital One, or any of the transferable programs. I mean, Chase, any of them. City for sure, Built for sure. The 10,000 miles to me is worth more than $150. I would do that all day. And then lounge access, just Nona can get in. We don't have me as an authorized user paid for, so I can get in. She'll use it sometimes, $25. So that's a total of $400, which is a gain of $5. So it's not all that impressive. So it's just kind of That's kind of where it's at. Okay, let's see. We got a few more comments coming in here. Let's see how many people are in here. 90. Oh, still over 90. That's awesome. Kind of having a long one tonight. I usually go an hour, but I don't have anything else going today. So and Nona's out of town. So this is a good time to do this. Let's see. We had Yuri's comment here already. Medic says, I use the edit credit as a points discount. I booked an Omni in Atlanta that is literally feet from where I want to be. It also codes as cash on the hotel end, so you can earn points as well. Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Medic also says it was 2 cents per point as well. Good deal. Kale Mary says it doesn't matter if you can get one night FHR hotel stay for less than $500 a night, except for Vegas. It doesn't matter if you can't get one. Yeah. If you just travel domestically, that could be an issue. But we stayed in one in Miami last year that was $303. So we got all but $3 back. So it was the Lowe's Coral Gable. Nice place to stay. It was really nice. Great credits. So I think you can. KRS says 7,500 to 9,500 JAL. Okay. Medic says, unless it's an overnight, unless it's an overnight airport connection, I don't stay just one night. Okay. I can understand that. Nona and we travel a little differently than others, but like I said, like we've said all along, everybody has their own approach and their own style in this game. We often stay one nights because we review hotels. So I know that's different. Most people aren't creators doing that, but I do like that flexibility of just being able to do one night. And I think I'd like it no matter what. Yuri says, I just used the edit credit for Ritz and it has points boost at 2 cents per point. Good deal. Kara, 7,500 to 9,500 JAL miles goes a long way if you transfer those 10,000 Capital One miles, especially if you're booking round trip international business seats. Yup, 100%. That's why it's worth $150 to me. Medic says, KRS, I really need to learn how to use JAL. Yeah, it's a learning curve. I mean, you can't just use it the day you sign up for it, but it's very, very valuable. Yuri also says, yeah, I also like hotel hopping. Yep. Yeah, we like it. I mean, it's fun to stay in different places. So, all right, next one on the list. We still have about 90 people watching. That's a good deal. Is the Ritz-Carlton card. One of the newest ones in my wallet. The $300 airline credit, it's very easy to use. And this card has become, for that $300, the card that I book taxes and fees on international flights with. And it's just easy. You just call them. They pick up on the first ring. It's a 2-minute conversation, and you got your credit. I mean, it's easy. $300 airline credit, $225. That's what I'd pay for that. It's a good credit, and I'd pay $225 to get $300 on that. The certificate, the free night cert. This one's tough because I valued it at basically what I'd value the FHR credit at. So even though I'm going to get more value from it than $300, What would I be willing to prepay for it is $300. That's just kind of how I was trying to conservatively value it. Lounge access. Now, this would include when we go in the Sapphire lounges, because this would be our card to get into Sapphire lounges. And this would also include, any kind of guests with priority pass, but I'm not really thinking about priority pass on this. So this is $100. That's what I think about with that. Gold status with Marriott is worth zero because it's just not worth anything to me. So that comes out to $625, which surprised me. I thought it'd be lower, which is a gain of $175. So it's looking pretty strong. It's looking pretty strong. About 80 are watching still. 52 have hit the like button. So if you haven't done so, please do so. Let's see. Going back to Yuri says, Ritz credit 300, certificate 500. Okay. He'd be a little less conservative than I would be on that. KRS, the sweet spot with JAL is round trip. It's much better rate than one-way tickets with JAL miles. Okay. I'm going to keep that in mind when I'm looking at them. Vincent Pascal, when I had the Venture X, I thought of the 10K anniversary miles as a quick way to accumulate a good chunk of capital on venture miles without much effort, and you can concentrate your spend elsewhere. Good point. Christian Z, how are you getting the $300 for the Ritz travel credit? I'm using it for taxes and fees on flights. And in 3, hi Bob. The great thing with FHR is if I stay at Hilton properties, then you get your Hilton benefits too. Yep, it's pretty awesome. You are correct. All right, next one on the list. The GOAT, the bad boy, the one that I love, 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 and is tied probably for best card in my wallet at $495 a year, the Citi Prestige card. $250 travel, the $250 travel credit, I ranked that pretty high at 80%, $200 because it's super easy to use. It's just the first things that you book. It's worth $250, but what would I prepay for it? Conservatively, $200. Fourth night free. You get to use it twice. I just booked Nona and I an all-inclusive in the Caribbean for next year, and we spent about $400 a night. So that was $400 right there. So it's worth more than this, but what would I prepay for that? Well, I figured to be real conservative, $250, and the lounge access. Now this is where I consider my priority pass because it's got a great priority pass, including restaurant access. So since we use that, I think the lounge access on my Prestige card is worth $175. So that comes out to $625, which is a gain of $130. So that's kind of where the Prestige card comes in on that list. All right. Let's see who we got next. Henry Louisville says, could you imagine if Chase gave the Explorer card the Sapphire preferred multipliers? Yeah. Wow. Would be the ultimate airline card by far. And it would get massive people if priced at $199. You're not, some of the foreign airline cards, the Virgin, I think is okay. The Aeroplane cards got some decent multipliers, but yeah, you're just not going to find it. I would love it if my AA cards had some good multipliers. And I was going to do the live today about talking about United and how I'm getting a more positive opinion of United's pricing right now versus American. We'll get to that next week. But even if United, if they had a card that earned like 2x, man, I would be slamming an airline card because it gets you status too. So that's a factor. And in 3, I like Marriott Gold status for those who don't have any status worth something considering 5th night free and 2 p.m. checkout. Yeah, those are decent. I get Marriott Gold status from a lot of places though, so it's just not overly able to be considered. All right, here we go. The other favorite card in my wallet, the Built Palladium card. This one was funny because this was one of the cards that are the reasons I said this list is not comprehensive because this is one of my 2 favorite cards. I think the Built Palladium card is one of the best cards ever made in the history of credit cards. But it came out in a negative here. It just did. $200 Bilt cash. What would I pay cash for that? Real money for that. And I didn't know how to even figure that. So I said $75. I was trying to be conservative. The $400 hotels that you got to have a 2-night stay and it's broken up twice, I would pay $260 for that. That's what I'd pay. The lounges, $0, because I don't need priority pass. The status, to be able to, I don't know, how do I quantify that? But I conservatively said $100. That came in at $435, which is a negative $60 on the card that I think is one of the greatest, if not the greatest credit card ever made because of other reasons. Mortgages, points, earnings, multipliers, accelerator. It's awesome. But when you're just looking at these numbers, it tells a very different story, which I think is really interesting and a really interesting part of this whole exercise. Okay, let's go back to comments. Medic says, Bilt is really a love-hate card. It's also probably my best chase card. It is also my best chase card. Yeah, makes sense for that. Same partners. Medic, just signed up for the membership, going to check out your videos tonight. Thank you, Medic. Great to have you on board. Gary, Point CFO, says for the Palladium, you have to be a high spender to make the card pay back. It's an odd card that is not obvious to the casual user. Yeah, it's a really odd card. Have you noticed people try to give? I just saw a big creator who was talking about Bilt Palladium. It's like, it earns 3.33x. No, and yes, at exactly the perfect spending level, it earns that. But it can earn more at a different spending level. And if you keep spending on it, it can earn less. It is a math equation, right? Because how much mortgage you doing? How much are you spending past your accelerators, right? If you keep spending, if you put $1 million on the Bilt card, your overall, earnings are not going to be over 3x on $1 million. Depending on what your mortgage is. If you put $1 million on the card and you had a mortgage of $1,000 a month, you're not going to get anywhere near 3x on the first part of it. You're going to get a lot, but not on all of it. See, it's interesting because it is a math equation. Thanks, Gary. That's a great observation. Sammy says, I think I will get a lot of value out of the Bilt cash just with Grubhub, Walgreens, and the hotel credit. Yeah, it's like a choose your own adventure. There's so many different ways to use it. I love it. Yuri, I just used Ritz Cert at Ritz. The price was $520. Okay. So that's good. We're planning to use it for that much too. We're doing a JW Marriott in Hong Kong, and I think the cash price is $650. So we'll get more than that. I'm just on how much I would prepay. That's the question, which is kind of a hard thing to answer. All right. Next card. The Hilton Aspire. This one surprised me because if the Bilt and the Prestige are my favorite cards in my wallet, right under them is the Hilton Aspire. I think it is a smoking awesome card. Clear credit, get it on something else. And I don't value it. I would not pay anything to have it. I like to have it, but I wouldn't pay for it. So it's $0. $200 airline. It's kind of a pain that is broken up $50 each quarter, but it's easy to use. So I put $150. $400 resorts. Again, I use it all the time, but it is a pain because I don't live close to any resorts. So I can't just zip over like if I lived in Orlando and use it. So I'm conservatively saying half. I'd prepay $200 for that. The free night cert. This one hurt me to do this way because I am never using my free night cert for $300. But the question is, what would I prepay for a certificate that expires in a year? Well, I think we do FHR bookings and pay cash. So I had to put it at $300. Now it's worth way more than it. We used it for a $1,200 night last year. We've used it for at least $600-700 every single year we've had the card. And it's been 4 years. But what would I prepay for it? That's the question. And then diamond status. What's that worth? Well, I think we've gotten some good upgrades and we like the food and beverage credit. Maybe $100. So with all of that together, it came out to 750, which is only a gain of 200 based upon what I would prepay. But I get way more than 200 more, way more. So that's why I said this equation is not perfect because it doesn't factor in everything regarding the card. Okay, I know somebody will have comments on that. We have 56 likes, 83 people watching. That's pretty awesome after an hour and 25 minutes. Let's see. We missed a few here, and I got to scroll up. Let me see how to do that. All right, here we go. Think a lot of value with Built Cash just for Grubhub. We saw that one. Yuri says, I use the Ritz card. Yep, we saw that one. Yuri says, Walgreens can be used for cash, but you need to do it every month. Okay. I haven't done that yet. Medic says, I hate that you have to keep re-upping the accelerators, and if you don't catch it in time, you lose. I know it's probably not that much in the end, but still annoying. Yeah. I mean, there are definitely annoying things about the program. Christine Garcia, good to have you on board, Christine. Is it a good idea to get the Built card if you don't have a rent or mortgage? I think it is. I mean, honestly, because you can just do the points accelerator all the time and you're getting a 3X card up to 25,000 to spend. And then when you're out of that, it's still a 2X card, still as good as the best catch-alls that there are that are points-based cards. Yuri G says Hilton Cert is at least 500, but I usually get at least 700. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we try to get 1,000. But the question, and I'm not talking about value here. I'm talking about what I would prepay. Cash money, what I'd prepay to get that coupon. And that's what I would prepay. So that's kind of how, but I agree with you. It's worth way, way more. Aspire right now, just credits are more than the annual fee. Yep, that's true. That's true. But what would I prepay for? That's the question of this exercise. And combine your FHR credit and certificate by staying at Hilton. Yeah. I mean, yeah. One for one night, one for the next. Yuri says Built credits are junk and hard to use. Okay. Yuri says, I don't want to get the Built Palladium. Okay. Well, Yuri knows about cards, that's for sure. Gary says, I recommend all my relatives to get the Aspire since provide the ROI is easy and they get status for free breakfast. Nice for families. Explaining Built is too tiring. Yeah, it is kind of rough. But the thing about the Aspire though, is it works better. I think it's easier for people who live closer to resorts. I mean, I live a long way from any resort, so I have to plan more. Nuracan, looks like my $300 travel credit renews tomorrow before my annual fee $750 hits in August on my CSR, which I will DJ to CSP, downgrade to CSP. I'll spend that $300 quickly this week. Good plan. That's the way to play the game. That's for sure. Medic says, I didn't like the Built card at first and really didn't understand it till I got used to it. It's a points earning machine. There's a bunch of little ways to recoup the fees, but it takes work. It does take, but it's a gamer's card. It's a gamer's card. And if you're a gamer, I mean, I love it. Kind of surprised Yuri doesn't because he's the gamer of all gamers. Next card, City Executive card. $120 lift is worth zero. If I could put a negative number there, I would. That is the worst credit. I hate that credit. $120 Avis. Honestly, I don't like putting that on this card because it doesn't have primary insurance. If I had to prepay for that, I'd pay $25. That's what I'd prepay for it. $120 Grubhub. Again, $60. Lounge access. Now, this is where this one bumps up. We use that lounge access a lot. We went to 30 clubs last year, and we've already went to 14 of these this year. So they're valuable. $375. Status boost. That's pretty valuable to me. $200. So this one came out $660 and a gain that therefore of $65. That's what it came out to. All right, 90 still watching. 57 have hit the like button. Let's see. Sammy, let's make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yep. Sammy says, love the game. Yep, that's why we're here. We love the game. Point CFO, Gary says, I use the FHR at Conrad Vegas. They use my $200 Aspire credits and 6 of my $50 per quarter Hilton MX Business Plat credits. Yeah, we did some Vegas stuff and used it there as well. Works at the Crockfords, works at a lot of places. There's just, resorts where all of them are Hilton. So, and they're all resorts. So it works good. Christine Garcia says, which built card would you recommend? Definitely Palladium. I think hands down. I think the Obsidian's a good card too if you can't get the Palladium, but I think the Palladium is just the bomb.com. It is so good. Yuri, I actually extracted a lot of value from CSR, but I have it with $550 annual fee, but I'm on the fence of whether I should keep it for $800. Not sure yet. Yeah, it's growing on me. It really is. I was really negative for a long time, but I've reevaluated a little bit. It's growing on me, and we might even get it for Nona for a 1-year play. But yeah, I get it. Daniel Turner, Aspire is easier to use with more of them. Much easier with 3 to 6 free night certs and 600 to 1,200 resort credit to use at a time. Yeah, that's for sure. And that's the ultimate play for us. Not there yet. The D-Monks says, can you make a video about your current wallet setup? I'm really curious about your current strategy. Sure. I've actually got it on my board to make a video on that in the next week or two. But my setup's pretty easy. It's my cards I'm doing sign-up bonuses for. City Prestige, Elite card, Friday and Saturday nights for dining. Custom cash, and built card. For stuff that I'm not doing sign-up bonus on. That's a pretty basic summary, but that's kind of what it'll be. But yes, a video will be coming on that soon. Yuri had the executive, but downgraded it to CSE. Okay, downgraded it to CSE. That's an interesting way to put it. It's hard to recommend a card in particular since it's pretty personal. That's true. I just think the Palladium is just really just an earning machine. It's an earning machine, and it might not be around forever. I hope it is, but I hope people can get the points while they can. Henry, I think I finally graduated newbie status when I realized that getting accepted for a card doesn't matter when waiting 24 months for your next sub equals 24 months from when your original sub was actually granted. Yeah, true. Yuri G, I have Prestige with a $350 annual fee. Oh, Yuri, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, the City Elite card. $200 Black Lane. I value that. I would prepay $75 for that because we like it. I know it's not practical, but we like it. It's just fun. We got a video that'll be coming out. We used one just last week. So it'll come out on Nona's channel, Wagon Travels. But the Black Lane credit, I like it. I would pay $75 for that. $200 splurge credit. It's very useful. It's an American credit for me. It's $150. That's what I pay for it. $300 hotels. I would pay $200 for that. It's a pretty easy credit. It does have to be 2 nights, but it can be any hotel. So you don't have to pay for expensive hotels. $200. Lounge access. You get those 4 American passes. Nona uses those every year. I'd pay $60 for those. So total $485, gain negative 110. Now that doesn't qualify though that it's a 1.5x on everything, and you get the city nights thing, which we do use. Okay, so my daughter has this card. She called me up the other day, just so excited. She said, Dad, I went out for work with a bunch of work people, and the bill was like almost $1,000, and they all Venmo'd me, and it was city nights. Dad, I got 6,000 points. That's an awesome play. That if you're using it for things like that, this doesn't really quantify the total value of the card. Let's see. Medic says the Palladium is also the only one with a sub. True that. And Point CFO, Gary says our wallet setups are similar, except I always use the Chase Inc. Business Preferred for the 3X Travel X Air. Joe just talked about this card Friday. Yep. Yeah, I don't have that one. I want to, and that's probably my next business card I'm going to try to get from Chase if I ever get under 524. Okay, 2 cards left. The American Express Platinum card. Uber 1 credit, 0. We don't have that. Don't care about it. The 155 Walmart Plus. I would pay $100 for that. I mean, I would pay for that if we didn't have a card that gave it, because we get our groceries delivered twice a week. I mean, and they're the only ones delivered to our house, so we would pay for that. Airline credit, that used to be higher, but now that they've nerfed things, I've got to put it at 0. I might find a use for it, but it's hard because I don't check bags and I have status. So, and we have lounge access. So, I mean, it's just hard to use. Anybody got ideas on how to use your airline credit? Because I'm running out of ideas. So let me know. $200 Uber Eats, $100. I paid 50% for that. Prepay it. $200 clear, $209 clear, 0. I like having clear, but I would not pay for it. $300 Lululemon. Nona uses that, but I'd prepay $150 for $300 of Lululemon, especially since it's broken up. Probably more if it was at one shot, but $300 digital, I'd pay $250 for that because, I mean, I'm going to use that anyway, for sure. So, yeah. $400 Resi, again, I'd pay $300 for that because we're going to use that for sure. $600 FHR, we love FHR. I'd pay $500 for $600 in FHR because I'm getting the free breakfast and I'm getting the $100 property credits on both of those stays. So I'd pay $500 for that. And lounges, $100. So that brings it out to still a respectable, even at this very conservative look at it. And I didn't put Equinox because it's dumb. Saks is going away. But $1,500, that's a gain of $605. I have become a very strong Amex Platinum fan. I mean, it's not a good spend card. People who get it to spend, not a good idea. But as a supplement card for benefits, I think it's pretty awesome. Let's see. Yuri says CSE is pretty good. I think it's the best card of 2025 together with the Summit. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think both it and the Summit are awesome. Medic, Point CFO, I just got the preferred and working on the sub to replace my 3X travel. Yep, it's a good thing to have for that. Henry Louisville, love my Ink Cash for the internet, phone, ESPN. Yep. And the 5X at Office Supply. If you know. It's awesome. Medic and Office Supplies. Yeah, there it goes. Henry says, yep, and love my City Custom Cash for Kroger. Yep. Works good for that. Last card on the list. The Business Platinum card. All right, this one did not do as well as the personal. $120 wireless is 0. 0. Because it does not work for me. I've tried every angle. Does not work. My cell phone provider does not work. And I've tried it all. Does not work. So it's worth 0. $150 Dell. I'd pay $75 for a $150 Dell credit. Hilton, $200 Hilton. This one was tough for me because it's broken up $50. There are no Hiltons with restaurants where I live. So I got to get real creative. I mean, I've even been so desperate. I've almost done the Dugras Hot Pockets move where you go into one of these Trues or whatever and you just buy stuff from their little store. That's ridiculous. So $50. That's all I prepay for that. Airline credit, again, 0. Clear credit, again, 0. Adobe, 0. Indeed, 0. I am such a small business. I am such a tiny business that those are ridiculous. Now the 600 FHR, 500, and the lounges, again, 100. So that comes out to $725. So that's a loss for me of $170. If I could get the personal platinum, and Nona and I both just have a personal platinum, I'd replace this in a second, but I can't. I'm struggling with pop-up jail to get one. So I'm going to keep trying, but who knows? Okay, let me see. Because there is a question here that I might have to go back to answer. Yeah, here it is. All right, so Daniel says, how would you value a second platinum? I can make I can make one make sense, but probably not player two. So let's go back on that to answer that. So on the second platinum, we wouldn't need the Walmart Plus, so we take that one off. The Uber would be about the same because I could use, another Uber Eats credit. I eat out every day, so for lunch, so that's not hard. So that'd still be 100. The Lululemon, no one would find a way to buy gifts with that, so no problem, 150. The $300 digital, I'd probably add YouTube Premium. We don't have that right now, or other services. I don't think it'd be worth the 250, maybe 100, maybe. So that'd be 150, 250, 350 so far. The $400 Resi, same thing. So then we're up to 650. The FHR, we're up to 1150. The lounges wouldn't be any value. So it'd still be 1150 for me. So it'd still be positive, for sure positive. Better than the business plat is. So yeah. All right. Next comment was Yuri says wireless works for me for Tilio. Doesn't work for me. I've tried everything. I've even went into the sales place and used their little machine and tried to pay $10. Didn't work. NN3, sorry I came in late. Did you mention United card? I think considering hotel and Lyft card pairing with gateway card can make sense to keep it because it did. No, I don't have it. So these are just cards that I have, but that does make sense. It does make some sense. Okay, let me see. We got Vincent Pascal says another way to use the Hilton credit, buy merchandise from the on-site spa. Yeah, but when you live in a community where all you have are like home 2 suites and Trues, they don't have those. So, Henry Louisville, Hilton Garden Inn always has a restaurant. Yeah, we don't have one of those. We have a Hampton. They don't have a restaurant. Yuri says, I get a lot of credits from BizPlat, but Dell doesn't work for me well, so I will be canceling. Makes sense. Medic says, yeah, Amex don't like me on the personal side. I'm with you. Gary says, I have over 10 bits. I know you do. I know you do. That is amazing. Medic, point CFO, dang. Vincent Pascal, Yuri, I may also cancel my biz plat when the annual fee hits, but it's my only platinum. Yeah, that's my struggle as well. And KRS says, I use my Amex Business Platinum wireless credit for T-Mobile 5G backup home internet. It costs $25 a month minus my $10. My router has a fallout option when the cable goes out. Okay, that's kind of a good play. All right, well, that's the end of my list. Thank you, Mike Newland, again for coming up with this idea and kind of contacting me today about it. I hope it's been enjoyable to everybody. There's still 93 people here at the end. Last comments. Yuri G says he doesn't like the platinum. I don't get it, need it. Lounges are overcrowded. They are that sometimes for sure. All right, when we go back through gifts and membership gifts, let's see. Of course, we had some who celebrated a couple months. Live Venice, the finest, remember, for 2 months. Somebody else joined, but it didn't give me kind of a notification on that. Vincent's been a member for 6 months. Thank you. Mike Newland, the GOAT, good friend of the channel, and the guy who behind the idea today, gifted 10 Reward Master memberships. Grateful for that. And I know, there it is. Stinky Monkey gave a $2 gift. Thank you so much, Stinky Monkey baby. And I think that's what we got tonight as far as folks supporting the channel in that way. And all of you who just watched and were here, hit the like button. You all supported the channel, and I am deeply, deeply appreciative of that. And I know we went longer than usual tonight, but I had the time, and so thought it would really, really be good. All right, just let me get to the last comments here. Medic says, ending strong, great work. Appreciate it, Medic. Hybrid Vortex, nice live as always, Rewards Master. Appreciate that, Vortex. Family Travel John, the Palladium as credit card just rises above the rest. You might say it's built different. Ha ha ha. Good play on words. Like it. Gary says, really structured live tonight. Helpful for sure. Well done. Thank you. Appreciate it. Venice the Finest, thank you, Rewards Master. It's always a pleasure. It was a pleasure to have you here. Wonderful Sunday live. Thank you, says Henry. And KRS, I've been wondering, does the Amex airline credit work for premium drinks at Delta Sky Clubs? I want to try it next time. I would guess that it does because it works for club access. So I would guess that it does, but I can't tell you for sure, but I would certainly lean towards that being the case. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. I appreciate everyone. Greatest community in the world. Appreciate you so much. And I will see you here next time.